Ready? Go ahead and get started. Okay, so we'll call this meeting to order. First item is the approval of tonight's agenda, which I believe we all have.
Need a motion? So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Second item would be the approval from our last meeting of the minutes from the last meeting, April 16th. Those were sent out in advance. Any comments on those? Okay.
I move that we approve them with, there was one typo right under approval. It says approved.
Is that a motion?
It was.
Second. And a comment, Hillary do a wonderful job. Hillary, I'm calling her Hillary because that's what it says. I know your name's. They don't give you, they should give you one. I know it's Taylor.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Righty. That brings us to a discussion of commercial design and appearance standards. Brian, you want to take us away?
Yes, and we hadn't been together in a few months. Information we got tonight is for discussion. Well, we didn't really put anything out to you to review. A lot of this information was prior. I think we went back and it was last June we were talking about this. More of an update and some discussion to move forward with this. We've had a lot of conversations with the town attorney on what can and can't be done with the work that was through some of the planning board, but more specifically the subcommittee that we had. We just want to bring this to you to kind of let you know where we're at, where we're heading with it. So some of the information is new, some of it's old. But where we're at is trying to get some of the things through that we feel comfortable proposing. And obviously what Joey feels comfortable with as well. And some of that is just to straight shoot it. Some of it is very limited right now, what we can do. Some of the main things we're looking at, there was one new sheet there that references awnings and canopies. There was a lot of discussion during the subcommittee, and even we've had discussions after trying to get awnings and canopies back in shape. Quite a bit of discussion in the subcommittee actually, but that's one thing that there's some of the direction that Joey's give us. If there's mention in our ordinances, he feels the best that we can work with something that's already in there. Adding new stuff is, that's questionable. But wonder if throw the awnings, canopies out, that's one thing we want to pursue. I think we had brought a revised color palette to you, which the intent was to really just limit some of the colors that we feel like might make it more simple. Do we need a whole page of colors for someone to choose when they're close? So those are two small things we were looking at. Maybe some minor tweaking on some of the materials and also some of the roof and roof features. Another big part of this we want to try to do is to get it very clear in our Appendix F. The one sheet you have kind of separate front and back there. That's what's in our ordinance now as far as Appendix F. And it was mainly to give some building examples for someone coming in to look at. A lot of discussion was to really expand Appendix F to make it more to make it more friendly to someone looking at the ordinance. A lot of the, if we can get some of the canopy colors and some of those things going, we'll be able to reference, there'll be some references changed to Appendix F to get people to utilize the appendix a lot more. The sheets that we have with the examples on, a lot of those come from the subcommittee when we was going through those discussions. And a lot of it is just to be more specific on the exact materials we want. And you're probably not familiar with any of this. I don't get. I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here looking at it. Wait a minute.
No, that's okay. I'll get
We had discussions about a year ago on trying to revamp some of our appearance standards. And there's some limitations on from the state that how much we can actually make changes and to what extent. It's been the discussion for about a year now, kind of putting this on pause. But what we want to do is try to get some of the things we feel comfortable with getting through, some of the more low hanging stuff that we've got here. So this is just for discussion tonight. I mean, there's nothing we need from this. It was just kind of laying out kind of a path forward, and what we're anticipating is, maybe spending another month on this to hammer out and get a good presentable appendix going, and then bring it back to you, and hopefully subsequently to council for some consideration. But as we draft this, we'll be talking with our town attorney to make sure he's comfortable with what we've got and moving forward. There's just not a lot of talking with a lot of folks from the UNC School of Government. There's just not a lot of precedent right now with a lot of this to say this is what you can and can't do. But we feel like we need to move forward with some of it that we discussed. Nothing in here is groundbreaking. It's not a major change to a lot of the standards we have, which this does cover downtown and our commercial districts. But it's just to really make it more friendly, get some more graphics, more pictures, appendix that make it a little more user friendly.
Are the standards for new build questions, or are they enforceable from the standpoint of maintenance and upkeep of buildings and facades?
The one thing we're proposing in the awnings here, we do have some things that relate to maintenance. But one of the questions with the awnings has been lack of maintenance. And we've done some things retroactive previously on some other things that requires people to try to come into maintenance compliance within a certain period. That'll be a question of, is that something we can do? But there is, I think, some discussion about getting some maintenance in there. So just like this is all just to take away, hey, this is what's in our head. If there's any discussions you'd want to go ahead and put it in, I guess, in staff's perspective at this time, we'll welcome that. But just trying to make it clear, or I guess in maybe an easy term, is putting a lot of these words into pictures and graphics that may help someone.
Ryan, can we supplement your answer to Leslie's question just there to also say that this applies to existing design standards already in our current code, no change, do apply to commercial buildings when they are renovated to some level? Okay, so it's not just new construction, but you can trigger, property owner could trigger this. I think it's 50%. Is that right? So if you're doing a renovation, that's basically 50% of the value of the building. They would have to bring the whole building into compliance as well.
Very helpful. Okay.
If you only spent 1% of the value and you change it, it would have to be something that's. you could keep a non-conforming paint like across the street or Jerry's. But you could not change it to something else that is not in the list. So the threshold of 50% applies. You put, want to put a facade on the front of the building and it was not approved, you could not do that, even if 50%. So it's, all new construction, renovations. If somebody's window is busted and they want to put a reflective window on the front, they can't do that. Because replacement that would be not in conformance with the code.
That helps, because I was trying to distinguish between, you know, when I look at things, some of the maintenance side of things is getting pretty sad, right?
And I'm not referring to maintenance.
Yeah, so it's not a maintenance thing, it's an event
It's
driven.
kind of in a separate category. And what Ryan was mentioning, that we're trying to put something in our ordinance that would refer to maintenance that exists in the building. For a long time, we thought we had it, yeah, because people maintain, and now people are not. And so if shutters are falling off or.
It's peeling, cracking.
You need to have a way to have that fixed.
Yeah, okay. And would that come to the planning board, or would that be something, I mean, is that something we would discuss, or is it something the town would do?
You, right, as far as enforcement, whatever we bring as the ordinance will come to you for recommendation.
Okay.
The enforcement of the existing ordinance is very staff.
I had two minor questions. Awnings under appearance.
I'm sorry. Brian, are you done with what you wanted to talk first? Are you ready for us to just to know? I mean, we all just are seeing this now for the first time.
That's right, and it wasn't, it was just, a lot of this has just been a lot of the information you've already seen before, and it's nothing we need to really take into consideration. It's, you know, take it and absorb it, but we'll be coming back with something more formal, you know, obviously getting it to you in time to review it more formal.
Right. And so I was interrupting Steve's question just to note that, I think to the extent we have comments or questions right now, but I think we all may want a little more time as well to look at this. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
we'll make sure you were done with what you want to present to us before we start asking questions, making comments. We good?
Yeah, like I said, there was no intent of making any decisions tonight, voting on anything. It was just, hey, this is where we're at, and this is where we want to move forward.
Sure.
But we'll be bringing back, something more formal for you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so with all those caveats, Steve?
Just a quick question under appearance. You're saying awnings have to be solid color or vertical stripe pattern with no more than two colors, but Blue Ridge Realty, is that three colors with that red pinstripe? Black, white, so would that become a non-conforming awning? I think it's black and white with a thin red pinstripe. I mean, I don't
and that's things we've got to take into consideration.
I don't find that objectionable.
Yeah, with Joey's input on, and that's the fine line of not making something non-conforming, because there's three little bullet points that's in that statute, and the last one is it's a cover-all basically that you can't make things more non-conforming. And that's where it really puts the limit on what you can do. So that'll have to be scrutinized pretty close. And some of these pictures may not fit that bill.
Another question, I've raised this before, and I don't see anything about street-facing clocks. Forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but like a broken clock. Street-facing clocks, again, I think should display the correct time, just like awnings should be maintained, so should clocks. And, a clock that only is accurate twice a day is not properly maintained. So if there's anything we can do about that, I'd appreciate it.
Noted.
One more question. Are all these And these are great pictures. And I know I've seen these before. Are we suggesting that these are what we're encouraging, that these are acceptable, all of these?
Right.
And that includes the brick structures? And I know we talked about this, I don't recall completely, but there's certain kinds of bricks that are okay and certain kind of bricks that are not okay, but over the last 130 years, I thought we've developed a predominant architectural style that really does not include brick. And I'm not suggesting that brick becomes non-conforming, but I would hate to see people using red brick in new construction. And I don't know what everybody feels about that. That's something from, early part of the last century.
I have a macro question, and understand working process and all that. When my quick look through some of this new material, it does look like there's some reorganization going on. And
There's none in this, I'll tell you that. And then there's, all of this will have to be reformatted somewhat.
okay, because I'm looking at the numbers, for instance, in roofs, there's now a subsection of, where it was its own standalone section, and it's now kind of a subsection of something else. And as you're envisioning it and this is being organized, are you, staff, are you intending to use the four different zoning districts downtown to create some differentiation? And as an example, roofs seems to be going in the opposite direction a little bit from one, building a little bit on Steve's comment about architectural appearance that's already existing. We have Town Center East that is predominantly flat roof, right? Or has a lot of flat roof in it, and that was an area that one could look at Main Street and say, that east side of Main Street, flat roof. I've got detail comments, but my macro question is, are you intending to use the four different zoning districts, or are you just going to try and lump everything together?
That answer is yes. And the number that's in here, ignore that, but that comes from our first attempt when we were thinking we could proceed a lot easier. But that was including breaking out each zone district and applying the standard differently to that. And we can still break that out. We just gotta obviously make sure what we're putting in each district. But the intent is to separate those.
Well, what if we left it in the code as separate, but then just had a general list and the appendix of examples that would capture roof lines,
Sure.
materials, and so that we don't have to, because if there are any changes in the future to zoning districts, materials, that we can change the code and leave the appendix alone.
100% with you on that, Kevin. Mine was a comment only about the text portion of this, not the appendix F, and it's applicable. I think that we all agree that visual is great. More information that y'all have put together for appendix F is fantastic. So not about that. Mine was more about, hey, if we're talking about, again, the way it's formatted and just looking at it today, the subset of roofs, here are these materials. Well, if those materials are actually more than just Town Center East, great, which I thought they were, was my detailed comment on that. But I wanted to know if from a text-only standpoint, not the appendix part, but the text was going to take advantage of those where it made sense, right? Some things are going to be applicable to all the zoning districts.
And there's a part in exterior walls and slide. There is a call out in the first section. Talks about the materials used on each building elevation adjacent to a street, while talking about and half the stone. very locally. Equivalent cultural stone products. Natural wood siding and other equivalent materials that are specifically approved by planning board or the town council in this case. Maybe. Next paragraph, in the town center, east, west, and sunset zoning district, where a stone is used as the building material, only natural stone, material may be used. No cultural stone blocks may be used as a substitute. I was actually digging in, trying to find the thing about breaking. I think we couldn't break it out.
It was discussed, but it never got moved forward.
So it's,
We,
I mean, I'm looking online, maybe this is, I think it is.
no, it sounds up to date, but I'm sorry, I may have misunderstood what you said, but I'm going to answer my own question perhaps. We talked a lot about brick. We never did anything in terms of code changes about brick, in my memory.
Got it. I know we took it off of general business. That's not,
Yeah,
we let.
Left it in general. Yeah.
I think we took it.
I'm like Chris.
I think, of course, we have it.
That's too long.
But I think what we were trying to do is get away from it. Maybe we left it out there. You know. I'll go back.
I don't remember for general business, because subcommittee, and for Leslie's note, the subcommittee that had been meeting, which was a broad group of people, had been focused on the downtown area, so central business, but not, like, there may have been things that spilled over, but our focus was not out on the highway, right? It was downtown in the 4 zoning districts that ended up being downtown.
Thank you.
And Kevin, I mean, part of that was there was further discussion, again, that we did not carry forward, but there was that concept that if in town, well, we never even got there, but a little bit contrary to what Steve said, but there was a concept that if we were going to allow new brick buildings, that they would only be on Town Center East and between Sunset and either Morris or Story, right?
Yeah.
But then there were caveats about that again, I don't think I carried forward, about the patterning of the brick. Remember that whole thing about, so it's not just I don't remember the architectural terms for it, but just, it wasn't just this flat, unadorned brick, that it would have.
16.21.4 say now. At the exterior walls, is that where you were reading from?
The exterior walls of commercial buildings shall be designed to reflect, enhance, and promote the desired image of a mountain village. Historic structures and other buildings in the Walnut area that provide important examples of a mountain village image is contained in Appendix F. The examples that are contained in Appendix F shall be used as a guide for building design.
4.1 is where it talks about brick,
Yeah, but
or used to.
it doesn't say brick.
Okay, we took it out. Yeah.
We took it out. We took it out when we did the stuff on the line.
I was going to say, you took it out, Bill, not recently. It was
Not recently, it was in
Yeah.
21. And we did that. 321.
Yep.
Hey, one more question about colors without getting into weeds here. No fluorescent color, but did we say no pastels as well? Or did we not discuss that?
I think we talked about pastels.
They're permitted in the current code?
There is some.
I know there are some, but
The last change we made to color, we took out 4. And we presented about 25 colors, that's in there. And we think this better captures the colors that we're more comfortable with from the 240 something. But I think the discussion was that y'all were okay with the line was the colors that we currently have and just leave it alone. If I recall.
there were certainly many of us that had that some, but yeah. So-
We leave that part alone and take that section out.
So, Brian, to go back to process, presented this tonight, I've had a few questions, a few quick comments. Are you looking for us, and including the people who are not here, the members who are not here tonight, to provide review comments prior to the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's just this is where we're at this point.
okay,
And I think once we get a little bit further with Joey's input, then we'll get something in front of you to comment on. And maybe we have a meeting to comment, and then we go back to the drawing board a little bit with y'all's input.
yeah, I think from many of our perspectives, it would be good to, because we don't have the benefit of a subcommittee to hash through details. So if we're just going to present potential changes to this board, I think you do need to budget time for us to
So
review it in advance, but then
that was not the intent tonight.
understood.
And it's, there's still just a lot of unknowns as we move forward with this. And I think the process with staff is to get our wish list out there of what we feel like we can go, and Joey may mark it red to no end, but we've got to get him feeling comfortable with it. Like I said, there's no precedent out there saying how far we can go with something, and that's something Joey's just got to feel comfortable with review.
A matter of process, I would suggest that you do send out to the members who were not here tonight what we had today.
And when you say there's a lot of unknowns, is that within the precedent setting, he's sort of not having the guardrails or not having restrictions, and so therefore there's a lot of flexibility, or is it unknown about how restricted it's going to be?
I can send you the section of the state statute that I'm referring to. There's some criteria in there.
That'd be great.
But basically, it's, everybody calls it the down zoning law. It really tied folks' hands trying to make changes in their ordinances, not for the better. But you can't, going back to the third little caveat that's in there, it speaks to things being not more non-conforming that Chris was talking about, bringing something into compliance. But that captures a lot. And we just don't know how far we can go, because we've talked about the mass in the building, scales of buildings, changing orientations, things like that. That's where there's not a lot of comfort in that, because you're making such big changes there. I'll send you that section. You can kind of look at it. Questions, we'll be glad to sit down with you.
That'd be great.
It's hard to explain. I think we can just sit down, we'll take a look, and then explain it to you a little better. But it just really limited what we can do with changes and not make a big impact of what we change. But I think we need, our intent with this obviously is to move forward with a lot of work that we have done and try to get something that's more aligned to what we were thinking, and something that's more friendly to use as well.
Understand this is the low hanging fruit, but it would be nice if we could at least move forward with our wish list for things like massing and
I will tell you, this is some of the things that Joey felt comfortable with.
I would specifically ask Joey, I think I brought this up last year. We have, for example, a 50,000 square foot restriction on retail commercial, because we want big boxes, but we don't have that for hotels, for condominiums, for office buildings. And while I wouldn't want to limit somebody, because that would be down zoning, to 50,000 square feet, we could probably, or ask this of Joey, could we require that if somebody wants 80,000 square foot, well, they got to break it into pieces of 40,000 or 50,000 or 30,000 separate buildings, so that we don't have those monolithic buildings coming into this charming downtown in redevelopment. My own feeling is that would not be a down zoning. You wouldn't be prohibiting somebody from going over 50,000 feet, but you would force them to break it into smaller pieces.
I think he spoke more favorable of if something is already in your ordinance, you know, tweaking it is probably more favorable. If it's existing. So.
The comments we want to give Brian tonight? Questions? Brian, you get what you were looking for from this discussion?
More for info.
Appreciate the input.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I think it's just to get back together and, you know, also wanted to just give some updates if the board so wishes to hear some updates on some projects.
Right, so if we're done with that item, we could go to old business and you could give us some updates.
No, it's just been a while. There's probably been a lot of projects that maybe haven't even started in the last year or two. It was just, if there's any questions on any projects that's out there, maybe some of them you've seen progressing. Probably most notably the lodge down here at the Old Scotchman. They're moving along. I don't think they, unless Taylor knows, I don't think they've given us a opening date yet, but they're getting close to getting the project finished, and I think it turned out to be a good addition on that corner there. Beautiful building. We've commended the architects with that one, and we may start using that one in some of our photos, honestly. Great looking building.
Has the burned down building come back in yet?
It has,
Bistro Elka, what, that's not coming to us, I assume that's shipping staff thing.
it's just a rebuild, a zoning permit. For that. They've submitted plans and permits to rebuild. Basically, they're looking at the same footprint, same building. But yeah, that's pretty simple there. I think
They have not received their permit yet?
I'm not sure if John's. I'm good with it. I'm not sure if John. We're right on the cusp. If he's not ready, we're ready to issue it.
Bistro,
Bistro.
did they get a permit yet?
I think they have. So I would anticipate them starting real soon. Probably within a month, I would imagine. Same gentleman, just probably not well known, just kind of getting someone back, but he, Mr. Milner's opening up Woodlands back, back to a barbecue place.
I had conflicting dates. I was told the 25th and then I was told the 30th.
I think he told us it was Thursday or Friday next week, I believe.
Did you tell us that last week or did you tell us?
Before the 4th is what they're
Yes.
shooting for. So, and I think this is a good chance to, I mean, everything Cobb cooks is good, so I'm assuming this might be a good chance for a good barbecue restaurant back.
I believe he's on Monday and said next Thursday.
Next
So, 25th?
They probably got a good week of moving in and some things. But I think it's great to get that one back.
A lot of people have questions about the shops on the Parkway, phase one.
We're in review of the building permits now. I think we probably would anticipate that within the next month or two as well. Should check with Kevin. I think 7 acres. I think their last word with them was to shoot for the August council meeting. Maybe to be determined. Working some things out internally. I think what else we've got going.
Butcher shop, you haven't heard anything from them?
It's still to be determined. I know he's getting closer.
Hearing that for a year.
Yeah, he's a one-man show, and it took him a little bit.
He had some issues recently on some flooding. Looking at that, so I think that's the setback.
He stepped into a tough building there, maybe a little bit more than he realized, and now he's in and he's just plowing along.
And what are you hearing about Holiday Inn also on the 4th?
As far as I know, I think we sent a request if they were gonna pull the permit. I think they have. But nothing is coming of it at this point.
What about the old Canyons building? Are there any plans for it or anybody looking at it?
We've had some folks talking about it, but I don't think it's changed hands yet. Green Park is plugging along. I think we should start seeing the hotel go vertical here soon.
I was gonna ask about the Green Park. What's going on with the wood that I thought was supposed to be on in March?
I believe there was word today that Kevin got, but I think there's been some back and forth on when it's gonna go.
Wasn't one of their conditions to put a green screen around the fence? I thought I remembered, because they did have it screened for a while and then they took the screening down. Because the wood looks terrible.
The wood is a topic right now, so. Yes. But that's, I don't know if y'all remember Ann Fur coming through with that building. I think it's just kind of fell to the wayside across from Outback there. Harbor Village. I don't think there's any movement on it at this point, no intended movement. And all permit extensions is probably still out there for a little while, so they're probably still there, still vested, but I don't think there's any intent of any movement on it at this point. Pine Laurel and Pine now. They should be mobilizing probably in the next week or so. We have pre-construction with them. So I think we'll see that one rolling pretty heavy 4th of July and after. That's kind of the main ones. The project on Moore Streets, I think it's rolling along pretty well. So.
Thing on Oyster House. The old Savannah Oyster House. I see people in there and then they're not there and then they're in there.
I think their intent is to look at another restaurant there.
Well, it's time.
There's Taco.
It's a taco, but it's
I don't
been
know any time frames with it.
time frame. Okay.
There's been movement, definitely. John's been down there, but
They've been exploring in the building quite a bit, but, that's all. I mean, we don't have anything besides the 7 acres. It's kind of still on the board.
What happened to the townhouses at 321 that come down to Main Street?
Our village, that's,
Sullivan Village, I'm sorry, I forgot the name.
I think Kevin may have talked to that owner, and I don't think there's any movement on it right now. I don't know.
That one changed hands from cash to someone else.
The last owner we talked with was Josh,
It was Josh. Okay. Okay.
and as far as I know, he still has the project.
Okay.
You said Green Park is probably going to start coming out of the ground soon. Does he have financing? Last time I talked to John, I don't think he had his financing in place yet. Unless he's planning on building that with cash.
Yeah, I mean, they've started the foundation on the Green Park. I think that's about all the projects. I don't know if anyone has met our new town manager in Alice. She's on the.
Welcome. Thanks for coming to the meeting.
sorry, I was late. Had 3 things at the same time, so.
We told her nothing controversial tonight. We're pretty laid back.
All right. So anything else for us, Brian? Any other old business from the board? All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, everyone. Thanks.